Hi all, welcome to Sini's classroom. I'm Sini Madhavan. Hope all of you are fine and keeping good health. In today's session, I'm going to discuss with you the third clause in the Memorandum of Association, and that is object clause. This is one of the important clauses in Memorandum of Association. So this clause of Memorandum of Association contains the object for which the company is incorporated or formed. That is, the very existence of the company is given in object clause. As you know, every company is formed for undertaking some specific business activities. And this is mentioned in the object clause. That is, what is the basic objective of undertaking a business activity, or the basic objective of forming a company. That is mentioned in this object clause. So this is an important clause as far as a Memorandum of Association is concerned, because it speaks to the public about the main objects of the company, the objectives of the company, the purpose of the company, the very purpose of existence of a company, as well as the object clause states the ambit and the extent of the powers of the company. So it states the purpose and range of activities for which the company is constituted or the company is formed. So this is one of the important clauses in Memorandum of Association, and this should be drafted with due care and diligence. Hence, this clause contains the objects for which the proposed company is incorporated. It determines the purpose and capacity of the company, and it contains the main object of the company as well as the secondary object which the company may pursue in future. So this is one of the important clauses in the Memorandum of Association. So when this object clause is framed, the promoter should state it in clear and definite terms. And due care should be given while framing this object, because the public will be evaluating a company based on this particular object. Now, this particular clause contains two parts. As I said earlier, the main object for which the company is incorporated, as well as any matters that are necessary for the furtherance of the main object. That is, any other secondary object that is necessary to fulfill the main object also will be included in this object clause. Now, the choices of object again vest in the hands of the subscribers towards the memorandum. That is, the choice of selecting the objects for the company rests in the hands of subscribers of the memorandum. But you have to choose only lawful object. That should be taken care of. That is, the subscribers to memorandum can choose only lawful object for their company. Now, when we say the subscribers are free to choose any object that they feel like, you should be very careful while selecting such an object, because the object so selected should not be an illegal one. That is why I have stressed that word, lawful object. The subscribers to memorandum is free enough to choose any object that they feel like for their company, for their proposed company. But when you are selecting such an object, it should be lawful. There are certain restrictions, and one of the restrictions is that the object should not be illegal or against the public policy. That is, if the object of a company is to trade with the enemy country, then that cannot be accepted. That is not a lawful object. So while you are framing, you are free enough to frame objectives of your company, but while you are framing, due care and diligence should be put on, because you can only select lawful object. Okay, so there are certain restrictions while we are selecting the objective, and the first one is the object should not be an illegal one or against the public policy of our country. For instance, trading with enemy country, that cannot be one of the objective of a company. Okay, now the second restriction is the objects that you have selected should not be against the provisions of the Companies Act 2013 or any previous law prevailing in our country regarding Companies Act. So the object that you are selecting should not be contrary to what are the provisions provided in the Companies Act 2013, or it should not be against the Companies Act. Okay, now the third restriction is the object should not be against the general law of land. That is, it should not be against any of the law that is prevailing in our country. If our country or if the law of the land does not permit gambling, then no company can be formed for undertaking any such purpose. So while framing objects for the company, for the proposed company, due care and diligence should be given, because this particular object shows the mere existence of the company. So there are three restrictions while you are framing the objects of the company. One is, it should not be an illegal one, or it should not be against the public policy. It should not be contrary to the Companies Act 2013, and it should not be against any law of the land. So these should be taken into consideration while framing the objects of the company. Coming towards the purpose of object clause. One of the purpose of object clause is to inform the members or the shareholders the kind of business into which their money will be invested. There's no doubt the company is the owner of the capital, but this capital is raised from the public, isn't it? And there are certain shareholders towards the company who has contributed money towards the company. And the shareholders need to know into what purpose these money are invested. So the object clause clearly specifies for what purpose the company is formed, or to what kind of objectives need to be satisfied by the company. So the shareholders will get an idea about the purpose for which the money that they have given will be utilized. So the first purpose of such a clause is to inform the shareholders the kind of business in which their money will be invested. The second purpose is, it informs persons dealing with the company the powers of the company. As I have stated earlier, this particular object clause states the ambit and extent of company's power. So as far as a creditor is concerned, they will get to know, or they will be able to ascertain what kind of company it is, or they will come to know what are the objects of the company. If it is of sound object, they will be feeling a sense of security. So it gives away, this particular object clause gives away the powers of the company. Okay, so whoever is dealing with the company will come to know the purpose as well as the powers and activities of the company. So they can contribute towards the company. And the third one is, it also serves the public interest, because any activities that is against the object of the company that is any activity undertaken by the company against this object specified in the Memorandum of Association will be regarded as ultra-virus and void. So it serves the public interest, as the activities of the company will be confined only to the contents that is specified in the object clause, and they cannot go beyond these activities. That is why I said, when you are framing object clause, you should be very careful. It should be very clear and definite, because this object speaks to the public about the purpose for which the company is formed. So the third purpose is, it serves the public interest, as the activities of the companies will be confined to whatever is given in the object clause. So once the company is registered with the stated objects in the Memorandum of Association, they can exercise the powers that are necessary for the attainment of objectives. However, a company cannot go outside the scope of these stated objects. If they go, that activities will be regarded as ultra-virus as well as void. This clause in Memorandum of Association states the object for which the proposed company is incorporated. So, by seeing this particular object clause, we can attract people to invest into our company. So, for the same, we need to give due diligence, and we should frame it very carefully. Only lawful object form part of the object clause. Any object that is unlawful, which is against the law of land, or which is against or contrary to the Companies Act, cannot be included in object clause. This object clause speaks to the public about the very purpose of existence of a company, the powers of the company. So a company cannot go beyond what is given in the object clause. Any such act will be regarded as void or ultra-virus. So this is all about the object clause. Stay tuned for the next class. wherein I will deal with the next clause in Memorandum of Association. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.